Thank you very much for making a date on the marketplace, and welcome back. President of the Advertisers Association of Ghana, Francis Dazi Jr., is advising digital television channels to develop creative content that will drive more traffic onto their channels in order to stay in business. According to him, the business community is looking out for quality content that attracts high viewership rather than the cost of airtime. However, Francis Dazi Jr. tells Joy Business good content will help overcome the tough times competition. Let's hear from him.
And so therefore advertisers are not interested. What we are interested in is channels and content that drives traffic that we could use to also reach our target audience with our goods and services. So whether there are more channels that come in, and if the more channels are not producing content that attract the necessary audience that we need them, it's of no use to us. Because we have enough. We have so many channels already there, but some of them are not getting there. But there are particular ones who still are getting the chunk of the advertising revenue because they are producing content and delivering a certain content which is attracted to the kind of target groups and audience that we are also looking for. And so even though they are all in competition and things, they still get their revenues because of the content that they. So the thing is content. It is not the number of channels. So if they come on board and bring more channels or whatever, it's neither here nor there. What content are they going to bring that will attract the audiences that we need, the eyeballs that we need? That is what we are looking at.
Now, the Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo, has reiterated the call for accounting professionals within the public service to be extra transparent and accountable irrespective of the unfavorable conditions they are confronted with. Some accountants and internal auditors within the public sector have occasionally come under severe criticisms for colluding to embezzle monies belonging to the state or for public use. Addressing a public lecture organized by the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, Daniel Domelevo urged accountants to be resolute in their work under all circumstances.
Because if we accountants were held accountable for this, I think we can serve our nation very well. And those professionals in the public service, now my few colleagues who raise your hands, I know there's challenging circumstances under which you work, but let's be professional, especially the internal auditors who are here. I really sympathize with your situation more than necessary, because you are put in a situation where I can feel your hands tied behind you and they say go and knock the guy out. It can't work, because it is the man who will determine your salary level next year, who will determine where you are going to work, whether you remain in Accra or Boku is your next destination. And then you come and say, Chief, you have embezzled the money. He said, you mean I have embezzled or I have kept the money? He said, Chief, no, it's kept the money. You have not embezzled. He said, then go and edit your report. I hope you know that next week we are starting the transfers. So go and change your report. This is why I'm calling on you that let's be bold. The consequences may be very unpleasant to us, but let's remain professional in this approach.
Meanwhile, the Auditor General has lauded the Finance Minister for assuring to revise the Internal Audit Act to grant more independence to the auditor at the workplace. This, he noted, will enhance the professional development of internal auditors and ensure international standards are adhered to. The lecture was on the theme Implementation of AG's Reports, Achievements, Challenges and Prospects so far.
I'm very happy that the Minister of Finance has heeded my call, because I've asked him severally, and anyone who followed the mid-year review, he assured that the government is going to review or revise the Internal Audit Act and take the internal auditors away from the various MDAs and put them under one umbrella, because there are too many advantages in doing that, brothers and sisters. There are too many advantages. One is the independence of the auditor, which is paramount, isn't it? If I know that from today going, my transfer, my promotion has nothing to do with you, If you ask me, is it embezzlement or I've kept, I say it's embezzlement. In fact, thief, what I mean is that you have stolen the money. Because I know you can't do who, isn't it? So the independence is very, very, very important. But beyond the independence is even the professional development of the internal auditors. Are you leaving that in the care of Ministry of Health, Agric, Education to develop internal auditors? I'm sure you are in Ministry of Health. If you are not a doctor, I doubt if you will be able to get chance for your development. Same it is. If you are in Agric and you are not an Agric officer, their training and capacity development is for their core mandate. So they don't see your mandate. So if they bring them to the center, they can be developed. Again, if they bring them to center, we can ensure that they are applying international standards in the doing of their work. Because there will be someone who should be able to supervise the work that you are doing, look at your plan, your audit plan for the year, monitor it, and ensure that you are documenting and doing everything professionally. But who is going to do that in the respective MDAs where we have kept them?
Away from auditing now, Zenith Bank has ruled out acquiring another bank as growth strategy.
As a strategy, I believe in organic growth, as a group. That means grow yourself, multiply yourself by yourself. Don't change your DNA. Once you do M&A, there are chances that you dilute your DNA and you have systemic issues, and all that. So for that reason, it's not always the first option. We'll continue to pursue our traditional organic growth strategy and take it from there. But how that notwithstanding, if we see good opportunities, why not? We can always look at it. But as it is, too most of the time, there's no discussion like that on the table. So it's very unlikely we're talking about that with Zenith Bank. But with respect to keeping our growth and our capital intact, with respect to IFRS 9 and the various capital directives, those directives only make banks stronger if you are doing the right stuff. IFRS 9 has come, we have gone through the first set of examinations, and it did not change our reports. Most of the times, our own payments are even ahead of the IFRS 9 payments. Banking is a conservative business, extremely conservative business, and we are conservative people in Zenith. So once you subject Zenith to IFRS 9 examination, you find that we're probably also ahead. So it doesn't change a lot for us at Zenith Bank. And the capital directives, we're talking of capital adequacy, supervisory overview, risk management, market discipline. Those are the issues of the Basel Accord, Basel 2 and 3 Accord and all that. It is something we have practiced as a group. Maybe we have a special advantage of having a group support us. And internally, we've been giving this report to our parent office and all that. And that gives us a lot of advantage. And the application of the Basel Accord and the various capital directives, again, for me, gives us additional advantage and makes us even stronger. I will never take away from us.
This is live on the marketplace. Shortly, we'll be interrogating the decision or the classification by the IMF of the $2 billion Sino-Hydro loan or Sino-Hydro funding not being a loan, and we're going to talk much about it shortly. But before then, let's cross over to the United States of America because the Global Women's Professional and Business Exchange Conference comes off in Accra between 4th October and 8th October. The program will bring together many business and professional women from all over the world to leverage their experiences in business, finance, and legal, among others. It is organized by the U.S.-Ghana Chamber of Commerce and is being partnered by Joy Business. Let's go over via Skype now and speak with CEO and founder of Diva by Cindy Hair Care, hair care line in the United States of America, Cindy Terrier, who is going to be one of the speakers at the event to give us what she will be addressing at the event. Hello, welcome, and welcome to the marketplace, Cindy.
Oh, hello, Emmanuel. Hello, all the viewers. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Yeah.
All right, so tell us about Cindy Hair Care first.
Okay, so what I am is I'm a manufacturer of a natural alcohol-free hair care product, which helps to detangle and helps stop shedding and breakage and stimulates growth for women's hair. So it's particularly women of color, which is us, Africans, African Americans, and it helps stimulate the growth. So that's what we're focused on. I'll be there to kind of share my experiences in business and my journey from becoming a registered nurse all the way to starting my own business and hair care product.
All right, so what are some of the issues that you are going to highlight during your talk?
Well, marketing is one of the main things that I'm going to highlight, and then access to capital for people. Because a lot of women, when they are thinking about starting a business, they feel inhibited. They feel as though they don't have access to capital, and they don't know how to effectively market. And I actually started off without any conventional loans and have been able to, with the help of God, because I have to give him the glory, been able to build a national brand, which is now also going international. So I'll be able to share my experiences to help inspire, empower, and motivate them so that they can also achieve and acquire what it is that I've been able to achieve and acquire. And that's what I really want them to know, that everything they have is inside them. The gifting is inside of them because they've been anointed for business. Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure you know marketing a company in Ghana is quite different from the U.S. What tools or mechanisms do you hope to draw on as part of your talk?
Okay. Well, now marketing in Ghana, even though it's different, we now have a lot of things that we can do virtually. Women are now able to, from Ghana, they're able to access tools like Facebook Live, Instagram. They're able to use some of these online tools to be able to touch people on a global level. So I'll be able to share my experiences using not just the internet, but also using point-of-sale materials. A lot of things that a lot of people hold back on is they forget that the creativity is within them. You can't go wrong with marketing as long as you're consistent and you stay consistent with your brand and the message. And that's what I want to highlight. Because if God has given you a creation or a marketing idea, if you're consistent with your colors, your messaging, and you remain consistent throughout, you will be able to attain that success to connect with people and effectively get your brand out. Yeah.
Many thanks for your time, Cindy, and we look forward to meeting you in Ghana shortly. That was Cindy Terrier. He's CEO of Cindy Beauty Hair Line in the United States of America. She's part of the speakers coming up next month at the Global Professional Women's Exchange Conference to be held in Accra. Now let's go on. And the $2 billion China's Sino-Hydro deal cannot be classified as a loan. That's the preliminary assessment by the IMF after concluding the crucial program review visit to the country. Meanwhile, the Bretton Woods institution's position, however, comes with some conditions. We have more in this report.
The IMF, however, argues it has expressed this preliminary position on this agreement only if movement of funds under the deal is not more than what has been agreed under the IMF program. It argues deferred payment for individual projects could constitute a debt only if they are signed with government guarantee. The IMF is, however, asking government to ensure that agreements covering the deal are designed in line with government's overall strategy to ensure the sustainability, transparency, and value for money. The latest development could bring an end to debate about whether the deal is a better arrangement, a loan, and its impact on the rising debt stock, which has reached 159 billion Ghana cedis. The agreement, which was signed between Ghana and the Chinese Sino-Hydro firm earlier this year, is to help with the construction of some infrastructure projects in the country, and government is expected to repay later with refined bauxite. The fund during its visit also raised issues with revenue mobilization and its impact on the program, whilst linking the city's current performance to external issues. The IMF also wanted the Bank of Ghana to complete its recent cleanup of the banking sector. It is, however, not clear for now whether Ghana has passed those critical requirements that would help the country complete the IMF program come April 2019. The team has been in town since last week to assess Ghana's performance under the program so far.
All right, so we want to stay a little longer on this and we want to do some analysis. My colleague Norvan Akwa-Hayford has joined me here to help assess the latest classification by the IMF of the $2 billion Sino-China-Sino-Hydro deal. Now, Norvan, what more can you say about this?
Okay, so I'm sure that we are aware that the minority did raise questions as to, how this particular deal should be classified by the IMF. And the examples that they gave at the time was the fact that, Ghana, in its quest to get the Buidam project, collateralized its cocoa. Another example is when we needed to put up the Ghana gas project, we had to collateralize our oil. And so these are arrangements that were done. And if you recall, under the former finance minister, Setekbe, there was something he called smart borrowing. And that smart borrowing, these were some of the things that were done. You know that the Buidam was done under Kufuor, and then the Ghana Gas, CBD loan, which was also done under the NDC administration. And so if you have such a project where you are also going through another kind of agreement, which looks like the same as what these other projects went through, then, and if the IMF at the time could see these other projects as a loan facility with interest that ought to be paid, and so added it to the public debt stock, then they felt that this particular one also should be seen as a loan. But, the government insisted that this is a better arrangement, and for that matter, you could not put that under our public debt.
So is it conclusive? Does it bring to rest, the controversy surrounding this classification by the minority?
Obviously, this should end it because the IMF, had the final say as to whether they were going to classify this as debt or not. And so if they are saying they are not, but they see it as the better arrangement that it is, they should bring it to rest. But I'm sure in the minds of the minority members of parliament, they will still have questions because they will be trying to understand why should it be so.
Now, there were two main conditions. Now, let's look at one. One of them says, or is based on the premise that movement of the funds must not exceed what has been agreed by the or under the IMF program. What exactly are we looking at here?
If they are saying that the movement of the funds should not exceed, the moment you exceed whatever threshold that the IMF itself has set,
it becomes a loan.
It becomes a loan. So it means that they have to do that. Remember that out of this 2 billion, 500 is something that the government has signed off and is getting Parliament to approve that so that the money could come in. And so I'm sure that could be one of the reasons why they are not looking at bringing in the total amount immediately, but they are staggering it. By, let's have the first 500 million and then let's move it, get into the infrastructure and the things that we ought to do to be able to.
Now, the other condition is that the agreement or the deal must fall within government's overall strategy of development. What also does?
Yeah, but so the government definitely has a strategy in terms of the kind of development it wants to undertake. We have huge gap when it comes to our deficit infrastructure as it should be. And so probably the government has presented a plan and say, okay, we hope to build this number of schools. We hope to make sure that these roads are constructed. We hope to make sure that this number of hospitals are constructed. Okay, so $500 million what, as far as the next budget, 2019 budget is concerned, this is what we need to be able to fulfill these number of things that we have to do. That is a caution to tell you that you cannot divert the funds when they come in. So you ought to use the funds for what you have said you're going to use for. So if something comes up and then you have to divert the funds, I mean, that's an issue as far as the IMF is concerned.
So after this classification, what next? I mean, when do we expect the project to take off? I mean,
that we are waiting on the government to be able to let us know the details. I'm sure that in the budget of 2019, which will be ready in November, we will see exactly what the details are with regards to what ought to be done and what the government hopes to achieve with regards to this infrastructure project that they talk about. For now, we don't know the exact details where it will be going to help close the gap that we have. All
right, thank you very much. Norman Akwa-Hayford is the Assistant Joy Business News Editor. He's been sharing his thoughts on the current situation where the IMF has classified the $2 billion China-Sino-Hydro deal as not alone or not being alone. Now, moving on, the annual Kente Festival of Bonyue traditional area of Ashanti region will take place in December to celebrate the popular traditional Ghanaian fabric. Chiefs of the proverbial town, acknowledged as the origin of Kente, are urging other weaving communities to join forces for a historic showcase. Nana Bubiansa, at a press conference on Wednesday, revealed a new kind of Kente brand will be launched to mark this year's festival. Prince Apia has more.
There are reports some Kente weaving communities in the Bonre catchment area are planning a similar event. Bonrehene Nana Bubiansa II says it is more beneficial to pool resources for one big festival than to hold small separate fairs. He says such fragmented moves can only mar the good name of Kente as a unifier and tourism material for the nation.
Now the massive was so Kente festival and saying, I didn't know now the buy.
How would you celebrate a festival when Kente didn't come from your end? It is as though certain groups of people want to alter the history of Kente. We hear communities like Adahumase are planning to organize another festival ahead of ours. We were very disappointed when we heard about that. We are worried because this is not good for Kente and our culture.
Yes, I now quite say, I say, Abacosem no, and Incophobia, Person Sisano, no more than any. And Yadia manager home, and Yadia Bunyaha, enemy penny for no beer any joke.
Nana Bubiansa II underscored the need for communities benefiting from the Kente to keep to the annual festival to market it locally and internationally.
The Bepa Kente Ehuntuma Kinja Yasai Afi Fufutuma any gold Yaya di media fashion.
Our expert weavers have been indoors creating a new kind of Kente. We are going to launch a new type of the Kente cloth at this year's festival. They should join us so we celebrate it together. We are brothers. We have intermarried. Besides, we even share a boundary. There's no need to fragment the celebration. Let's join together. Chairman of the Kente Festival Committee, Bright Atapuku, says the prices of the Kente cloth will be made affordable for tourists during the period. Prince Apia reporting.
And just before we go, today is World Tourism Day, and as Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark this important day, some have bemoaned the state of its tourism industry. Vice President of the International Airline Transport Association, Raphael Kuchi, is calling for an urgent need for government to rebuild the tourism sector in order to attract more foreigners. We bring you details of that particular call later on in our bulletins. And that's it for the marketplace. My name is Emmanuel Apwaji.